So the ban list has just been revealed, and in this ban list they're doing something a little bit different, so let's talk about it. Hi everyone, VortexTCG here, and the ban list has just dropped, and I've already seen the ban list, already know what's on the list, but I think there are some interesting things that they're discussing with this ban list, and we've also got a producer's letter along with this. So I kind of just want to go through this, talk about all the massive changes they're doing, a kind of change in direction for the ban list as well, and yeah, let's get straight into the ban list. Alright, so we are on the ban list page now. As I said before, it goes live earlier in Japan, I believe, but over here it goes live on March 1st, which is just a few weeks after the BT15 launch. So there are some interesting timeline things going on. I'm pretty sure this ban list will take place after World Championships, stuff like that. So very interesting decision, but I guess they kind of want to let people from Europe, North America, etc. play with these cards before they get hit. So let's get into the list. I'm going to be going over the cards, their explanation, and then giving my thoughts after. So the first one is the first egg that has been on the limited list that I know of, I believe, and that is the Bukamon. Bukamon is a very, very strong egg. Turns out giving something just free jamming is very, very good. We have something similar in yellow, but that requires you to fulfill a condition. And while this needs you to fulfill a condition also, it doesn't really matter because it's worded in a way where you'll pretty much have jamming all the time. So let's read the explanation. Because this card grants jamming by fulfilling an easy condition, it offers greater consistency than other blue digi-egg cards that are more specialized for different blue deck playstyles. As a result, there is little reason for blue decks to use any other cards than this one. For the above reasons, we decided to restrict this card to one per deck. Yeah, I mean, it's quite clear that this card has had a very strong effect on the meta. We're talking about Old Force, we're talking about Mirage Gal. Mirage Gal won championship finals in Europe, so I assume something like that would be hit for the deck, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I think the decks are still going to be fine. I think there's probably even a case where you just play one egg and this is the only egg that you play, so we're going to see about that for sure. But yeah, in my opinion, yeah, definitely a good hit. I didn't really expect this to be hit in my opinion, because I was kind of expecting them to focus heavily on the cards you can see coming up in a bit. So yeah, let's go on to the next point, which is going to be the Apocalymon, essentially the big baddie of BT15, and let's read their explanation. If you can send cards with the Dark Master's traits to the trash even once, this card can be played many times easily and for a low cost depending on the number of copies, which combined with cards such as BT13 Craniumon makes it extremely difficult to deal with. In addition, there is no cost to activating the deck trashing effect, and the number of cards trashed at the time is considerable, making it difficult to deal with for decks that cannot utilize the trash. So this card limits the number of deck types that can compete in this environment, and they decide to limit it to one. Yeah, agreed. I mean, this deck was obviously over-designed. It was designed around a certain mechanic, and that mechanic is broken. One of the things that I do want to say about this, it kind of sucks to open BT15 now. At least with the EX5 hits, you'll get about 2 months of play essentially. But with Apocalymon, you ain't going to be playing it essentially. You play it for one weekend and then it's done essentially. So that sucks for sure. You know, this deck is broken, but I think I'm happy this got a hit, but I also think there is a more problematic card in the format like Analog Youth. I think Analog Youth enables these kind of decks so much, and it just means that you're able to discard just a bunch of Dark Masters and then just be able to go for your win condition. So I still do think Analog is a big problem, but for some reason, Digimon, Bandai tend to not hit Tamers, it seems. They hit option cards and the Digimon themselves. So I don't agree with that, in my opinion. I think if you hit Analog Youth, banning it outright, I think you'll see these decks go down in play quite considerably. But hey, they got rid of the problematic card, and that was one of the things I mentioned with one of the cards that is coming up soon. Then I thought they were not going to ban the card outright. They were going to ban the cards that support the archetype. So I thought Analog would be hit here, but they decided to go with the problematic card instead. So yeah, you can only play one of it. I don't know if people are going to try forcing this with only one copy. I think even with one copy it's okay, but I don't know, we'll have to see. So yeah, Apocalymon to 1 copy. Then we got on to one of the 2 Gabumon hits, Ganon X Antibody. Let's go over the explanation now. In a Garurumon deck, this card offers both higher consistency and speed than other cards. In addition, this card's inherited grants a protection effect that makes it difficult for the opponent to respond from the beginning of the game. As a result, there is little reason to use other cards because the importance of this one card is so great. Yeah, I do agree. This card does a lot. It searches, it trashes, and it allows you to get a protection effect as well. That's a lot on one rookie, essentially. But yeah, I like Garurumon, so I'm a bit biased, and I wish this card was still around. But I completely get it. I think this card is bonkers. The fact that it's both blue and purple is also ridiculous. The fact it trashes cards as well, where you have to trash 1 card from your hand, is ridiculous as well. So yeah, I think it's fair that this card is going to be limited to 1. What was surprising to me is that they're also hitting the Garurumon as well, and let's go into the explanation for the Garurumon now. This card alone allows altering one's hand to a great degree, and it offers greater consistency than is reasonable for decks that can use it. In addition, this card can be used not only Garurumon decks, but also decks that utilize the trash. As a result, there is little reason to use other cards because the importance of this one card is so great. Yeah, I said it in the video. Draw 2, discard 2, broken. Gain a memory if you're playing a Garurumon deck, broken again. And then a protection effect, broken. So yeah, they just over-designed these cards, and we'll get into the developer letter in a bit because they kind of go through that a little bit as well. So yeah, very not surprised in my opinion. This card is ridiculous, so yeah, happy to see it go to 1. Even though I am a bit of a Garuru fan, yeah, should go to 1. And then the final one, the Anubismon. Now, in my Banlist prediction video, I guess, I said that the Mervamon would be hit because the Mervamon allows you to enable the Anubismon a lot more, but I also thought Anubismon was kind of crazy. But yeah, they decided to focus on the main card themselves. This card alone is just bonkers. I don't know what they were thinking when they were designing this card, and we'll talk about that later in the developer letter, but let's talk about their explanation first. This card has a high board retention and control due to its continuous play and removal effects, which greatly improves the consistency and speed of the deck when combined with several other existing cards. There are very few deck types that can handle this speed, and currently this card reduces the space for choosing other deck themes with similar board expansion effects, limiting the diversity of the decks you can use. Agreed. There is very little reason, if this card was not to be limited, for you to play anything else that essentially spams the board. Fenrir Lugamon is kind of a joke when you think of this card, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm glad this card is hit to 1. I think this is obviously the problematic card, not Mervamon, not Ignitemon, but we've obviously seen in the past before that they've hit cards around the archetype and not in the archetype, or the card that makes the archetype. So very happy that this is limited to 1. Enjoy Anubismon for 2 months, I guess. And so what I want to end the video with is a discussion on the producer letter. Now, this is a new thing that Bandai seem to be doing. I don't know if they're going to continue doing it. Maybe it's just a one-off thing, but it says volume 1, so I assume they're going to be doing more of this in the future. So we're going to go over it very quickly. They're going to talk about the new sets, and then there's some of the reasonings that we've already discussed before. So people who enjoyed the card game, look, we've got releases, EX5 and BT15. Wow, that's so cool. They tell us all of the things that are happening with these sets, tells us the dates, so January 19th, February 16th. Again, you have 1 week to play Apocalymon, and then you're banned forever. But yeah, they also talk about the cards that were hit here, which are very, very interesting. So I want to start off with the revisions to restricted cards, and I think this is very interesting to start off with, so I'll read it very quickly. Due to the unique circumstances this time, we would like to directly explain the ban/restriction revisions announced today, December 18th. First, please note that our aim is to keep the gameplay environment healthy and facilitate a diverse competitive meta game. Regarding the decision to ban or restrict cards from the unreleased English version products EX5 and BT15, please understand we give it a lot of consideration. We decided it was the best choice after carefully considering the degree to which it affected the tournament situation in Japan and our goal of aiming for a healthier environment for the players worldwide. This is a pretty big thing to say straight up, just saying, hey, we messed up, is very, very shocking to me, especially from a company like Bandai, which have not had the best track record when it comes to community, in my opinion. So just them saying that, hey, we want to prioritize the health of the game, that's why we're limiting things ahead of your release, I think is very nice. There are some people out there that have this weird perception that none of the cards from EX5 or BT15 should be hit, and we should just deal with Apocalymon and Anubismon as is. I think a lot of Japanese players will tell you that is the most stupidest idea that you've heard of and will think of in 2023. But yeah, I'm happy that they're actually talking about this. They also talk about some of the limits to more greater detail. They focus on the Bukamon X Antibody here and the Anubis and the Apocalymon here. There is some very interesting tidbits with this developer letter, essentially. So one of the things I actually wanted to point out is this one, which I think showcases a change in the ban list going forward, maybe. So since EX5, Anubismon and BT15 Apocalymon are both high rarity cards, we had many discussions about how to handle the situation. However, in the end, when considering the possibility that these two cards could be further strengthened with inclusion of new cards with the Dark Master trait in future, and which could lead to improve the environment by designating cards as restricted/banned cards, we decided to directly restrict these cards to only these two cards. So they've acknowledged the fact that these are high rarity cards, Super and Secret. Obviously Super is kind of whatever, but Secret is a huge deal. There's only 2 in a box normally, except for BT15, which we will get free because we have the, what is it called? Limited Pack 01 in that. But they continue going on about it, and I think this continues getting very, very interesting in my opinion. Most of the cards specified as restricted cards this time are cards that utilize the trash, so there has also been an increase in decks that frequently use the trash. In addition to the above reasons, the complexity of movements also increases due to the need to confirm more locations. This might raise the hurdle for those who say, I want to try the Digimon card game, and make the game seem difficult to new users. To ensure that everyone can enjoy Digimon card game with peace in mind, we decided it was necessary to significantly restrict these types of cards. For those reasons, we have decided revised ban/restriction and out of those 5 cards. Regarding this revision, we sincerely apologise for causing concerns by designating many cards as banned/restricted as once, and that this decision comes before their release for those who are playing the English version. We would also like to apologise that our development team inaccurately estimated the effect of these cards, which led to a short span between release and banning and restricting. Of course, we aim to create products that will not require adjustments through banned/restricted lists of cards, and thank you for your understanding when such an action is necessary to provide a better game environment. We hope that you will kindly understand that for cards judged to have a strong impact on the environment, there may be additions to the list of banned/restricted cards regardless of the release or reprint timing. Thank you for understanding the Digimon card team. And that to me is the most eye-opening thing that I have read from Digimon themselves. They have openly admitted that they made a bad decision when it comes to designing these cards. And I applaud that, if I'm being perfectly honest. There's a lot of card games that don't even give explanations to the ban list, or they just say it's because of this. But I'm glad that they've actually admitted fault here. It's very rare where you see a company admit fault for card design in the TCG space, essentially. I'm happy for that. But my issue is that, how did we even get to this point in the first place? I mean, if anyone has played the Digimon card game for a short period of time will tell you straight up that Apocalymon and Garurumon support sounds broken. Are you telling me that a when digivolving effect for draw 2, discard 2, gain a memory and protection is fun and balanced for the game? I'd have to disagree, but it seems like that went through the R&D stage at Bandai, which is very worrying. But again, while I am being a bit cynical about that, I am still very happy that they have made that very clear, and I think now they're going to fix that in the future. If you look at, for example, BT16, I wouldn't say there's anything immediately crazy like Apocalymon or the Garurumon support in that set. It's mainly kind of just like fan favorite stuff again, and I kind of like that in my opinion, and I think they've learned that and now they're just expressing it now. So let me know what you think about this developer letter and what you think about the ban list as well. In my opinion, I'm happy about the ban list. I'm happy they've actually decided to fix cards that are actually problematic instead of banning around certain cards instead. I'm also very happy they've got a little bit of communication with us this time. I'm hoping that we get more of these developer letters in the future because I think they are very, very nice to have. Gives you some explanation of the cards, gets you some explanation of the sets they're coming in, and gives you a bit of a heads up in general. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.